Hey everyone, Kristine here from Sip Magazine. Today we are out in Walla Walla. It is 75 degrees out here. It's absolutely insane. I was not prepared for this. Clearly I am in a sweater. So I've got a slew of rosé to cool me down. So today we are here to kick off Walla Walla Wine Month. And so to start off the show, we are going to bring on Shelby from the Walla Walla Valley Wine to give us a little bit. Hi, Shelby.
Hi, Kristine.
Give us a little bit of info. What is Walla Walla Wine Month? How can we get involved? How can we support?
Absolutely. Well, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for being in Walla Walla and helping us kick off Wine Month. Like you said, I'm Shelby. I'm the Communications and Marketing Coordinator for Walla Walla Valley Wine. And we are ready to celebrate Wine Month. This is our second annual Walla Walla Valley Wine Month. We are celebrating all of April. When we first endeavored to kind of have a wine month of our own here in Walla Walla, we selected April for a few reasons. Number one is that it falls in between March, which is Taste Washington Wine Month, and May, which is Oregon Wine Month. And as a cross-border region in both Washington and Oregon, it just totally made sense for us. So we're really excited to be celebrating what makes our region so special. Additionally, April is really the time where the Walla Walla Valley comes to life. The weather begins to warm up. As you can see on this first day of April, that's 75 degrees. And, wineries are getting ready to release new wines. It's just a wonderful, beautiful time here. And if you aren't able to visit in April, it's a really great time to start planning a visit for later in the summer and later in the year. There are a lot of different ways that people at home can celebrate Wine Month. So we really encourage people to think about Walla Walla Valley wine all month long. So when you're at the grocery store looking at a bottle on the shelf to pick out, look for that Walla Walla Valley wine. When you're thinking about the next vacation you're going to take, think about the Walla Walla Valley. And when you're deciding what to pull out of your cellar to pair with your dinners, think about Walla Walla Valley wine. So we really encourage everybody to be active and get involved. Wineries are offering really great opportunities to celebrate too. They have special 3 and 6 packs, special discounts on case purchases, and then also shipping discounts for people who can't make it in person. So check that out on our website, wallawallawine.com. And finally, we just encourage everybody to share their Walla Walla Valley wine selections and how they're sipping and celebrating on social media with us using hashtag Walla Walla Valley Wine Month and tagging us at WW Valley Wine, which is next to my name there. That's our handle on all of our social media accounts. We're going to be, posting some stories and information about the Walla Walla Valley and resharing what people are doing at home too. So yeah, we're very excited to kick it off here and kick it off with some great rosés from some great producers. Spring is the perfect time to really explore rosé.
And honestly, yeah, and this is kind of spring release weekend. And so a lot of these wineries are just releasing their rosé this weekend. So that is no April Fool's joke, everyone.
Yes, it is for real.
Yeah. Awesome, Shelby. Well, thank you so much. And we will also be covering Walla Walla Wine Month at Sip Magazine. So you can also check there too. But go to wallawallawine.com and there will be a bunch of information on how you can get involved. So thank you so much, Shelby.
Yes, thank you.
See you soon. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to start with our first guest, who is Fiona Mack of SMAK Wines. I see her running to her desk real quick to jump in, so I'm going to add her. Hey, hi. Fiona. Welcome. I'm doing great. I mean, it is such gorgeous weather here today. I am so excited. I have just poured this beautiful spring rosé, and I wanted to tell people about you because you are the only winery in Walla Walla that only does rosé. So what kind of made you make that decision?
When I first moved here in 2013, it was really hot and we don't have enough rosé because a lot of wineries, theirs are too delicious and they will sell out by June. And then when it gets really hot, it just wasn't enough. And it was too hot to get it shipped over here. And back then we didn't really have a bottle shop either. And so it was very hard to get rosé. And I had a very big restaurant background, so I love rosé and food. It's very, very versatile. But then I think a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people still have a little bit of bias about rosé is like a cheaper quality wine. It is darker in color or is sweet. So kind of high quality rosé is not really there yet. Not when I first moved here about 8 years ago anyway. And so I thought, okay, I also have family in France, so we just love drinking rosé all the time. And sometimes it's just really fun and it brings people together. And it's not so serious that, you know, you have to kind of stop and think about the wine all the time. So it's just a little bit more carefree. And I just wanted to bring that mentality here that you can actually drink rosé all year round. You don't have to drink the full, like have the same bottles every time. You can change it up. And so we decided to make different rosés.
Yeah, and so you have a spring, summer, fall, and winter rosé. And what would you say? I mean, do you do a different style? I mean, obviously you do different varietals, but do you do different styles to get more extraction during maybe the fall, winter months, or you know, what's your process?
Yeah, the fall winter is the most different because that one is 100% barrel fermented. So that adds a lot of character, and we can actually use more different yeast for the fermentation to bring out different flavors. And so by the time you blend them all together, it's a little bit more complex. It's layered, just like you would think about what you would wear in the wintertime. You wear layers. And so it's kind of like that.
My mouth literally was watering from this rosé. And, you know, I to all the viewers out there right now, I know that we're getting this fatigue of like watching people taste wine on camera and you're not getting to follow along. That's why we wanted to kind of bring these winemakers on and talk about really the process and like, you know, why they choose to do blends and why they choose to do single varietals. And I think like there's some key words and methodology for making rosé that it's not just a one-stop shop of like how you know, produce it. So what is your method for making rosé? Is it green?
Sure. So we do single variety because single variety can really showcase because we're modeling after the seasons. So by featuring certain varietals, it gives you the characters of that season. Say Sangiovese, the one that you're drinking right now, it has very high natural acidity. Totally. So and then it also has the salinity in the background and some green apple. So it's very tart. The wine is tart. Yeah. And
it's a great food wine for sure. Food rosé.
And it has some saltiness too. So the saltiness sort of represent our rainwater, and then there's a lot of floral characters as well. So that represents our sunshine. So that is our spring in a glass, essentially.
I love it.
And so
I think we showcased a picture of oysters, of oyster shells around it, which, oh my gosh, that pairing must be incredible. So
it's our go-to oyster wine. We just pour it on top of the oyster and we just eat it. And,
that's fantastic. And what do you retail most of your rosés for?
18. They're all the same.
18. Oh my gosh, that is a deal. And also, you guys, the art on this, I always do this backwards, but the art on all of her wines is just so whimsical and so
right here as well.
Yeah. Do you have a specific artist that you use?
Yeah. So her name is Margot. She's Dutch, but she's a fashion illustrator in Paris.
Oh, awesome.
So she is really talented. And she does all the artwork for us because we wanted to sort of tell a story on the label just so that people would understand, if they understand that we are a seasonal winery and we make wine that model the season or channel the season, then that way when they look at the label, they will understand what it is. Because you see that the summer label is, you know, she's on the beach. So it's obvious. This is
one, she has an umbrella.
Right.
We're dealing with a little bit of rain every once in a while. So
right.
Awesome. So Fiona has SMAK Wines has a tasting room downtown Walla Walla and Airport District. Sorry, Airport District. So definitely when you make your trip out here, if you want a rosé all day, that is the spot. Like, you know, she's got how many different SKUs? Just 4 right now? Three. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So thank you, Fiona. I also did not know you had an accent. I don't think we've ever spoken.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So where are you from?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Fiona.
Thank
you. Hopefully everybody will be getting to go visit her very soon when they come over to Walla Walla, because it is gorgeous. I wish I could show you what the weather looks like right now. It's absolutely stunning, and I'm sweating. Yeah. Okay, thanks so much, Fiona. We will talk to you soon. Okay, so up next, we have my dear friend, Ashley Trout of Brook and Bull, but also with Vital Winery. So I am going to bring her on. Let's go, Ashley. Hey. I stopped by yesterday and it was just lovely. Oh, wait, you're on mute. I unmute Mike. Oh, you have to unmute yourself, I think. Can't unmute your guest because
done.
There, boom.
Boom.
And real life now. So hey, Ashley, I'm very excited. I've got to pour this wine out so I can pour some of your beautiful wine. First off, can we talk a little bit about your labels? Yes. I mean, you just find a beautiful black and white photograph that just like resonates with you, right?
Yeah. So I find photos of the American West, and usually they have a tinge of like brutality to them, because I think a lot of what speaks to me with Walla Walla winemaking and Washington State winemaking is it's this journey of like, it's almost like the gold rush still, you know, like everything's still this very risk-taking adventure, unlike some more established growing regions. And so that's kind of the background on a lot of our labels.
I love it. And this is a blend. So a blend of Mourvèdre, Cinsault, and Counois, right? Am I saying those all right?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, I mean, people obviously choose to either do a single varietal or a blend. Can you tell us how you made that decision to do the blend? Have you done single varietals before? Like, what do you find, you know, why do you make those decisions?
Yeah, actually, I lied. This has some Grenache in it too. Yeah, I've done a few different versions. I think it's really challenging and really fun to make a single varietal rosé. But what's so hard about making rosé generally is that you don't have a lot of other things in your cellar later on in the year to blend into it if you're not perfectly happy with it. And even less so if you have sort of committed from day one to making this one-stop shop of like, here's the one row of the one variety that I picked and now we're done, right? And with rosé, you don't have a cellar full of other options later on if you change your mind, like you do with red wine. So it's really gutsy to make a single varietal rosé. And I've done it.
It's super fun. So
yeah. So it's not that one is better than another necessarily, but I really like what a lot of these sort of Provence style grapes give me, and I like the ability to blend them and get a little bit of the best of all worlds mixed in.
I love that. So the grapes that you bring in, are you doing reds first and then using what's left over for your rosé, or are you buying grapes specifically to make your rosé?
Yeah, I don't like doing reds for rosé because generally you're waiting for those reds to be more ripe, have more sugar, less acid later in the season. And they just make a really boozy rosé sometimes when you do it that way, and a very flabby rosé. Hate that word, but you know, not a very strong, crisp finish. And so I do like picking just for rosé, which is an expensive way to make rosé, but might as well do what you feel like doing. So I pick for rosé.
So when Jenna, I mean, just for our audience out there, because this, I really want to bring some education to this segment, because I mean, everybody thinks they know what rosé is, but really there's so many different ways to make it. So when are you picking for the rosé? At what point in, you know, level of sweetness or bricks for, you know, what are you looking for that?
Yeah, we're generally looking to pick around somewhere between 19 and 22 bricks, and it usually kind of falls right around 21 bricks.
And what is the residual sugar on this rosé?
Gosh, I want to say this one was pretty potent because we had some good acid on it, and I wanted to balance it out. So I want to say this one was close to like 8 grams of residual sugar. It's got some in it, which isn't normally what we do. Normally we do a dry rosé.
It is still dry for people that are out there. And when we talk about this, honestly, all of the rosés that we're trying and that we're talking about today are pretty on the dry side. But she's talking about there is some acidity that needs to be balanced out with a little bit of sweetness. Now, when she says sweetness, nobody would drink this wine and be like, oh my God, this is a sweet wine. It just has the balance that it needs from the acidity and the little bit of sugar that's left over. So not a sugary rosé. This, again, my mouth is watering. I can't even talk because there is great acidity on here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful wine. And tell us, are you doing a wine for Vital, a rosé for Vital this year?
Yeah, I didn't make Vital's rosé this year. Tim Doyle made it. We're mixing it up and bringing some other people into the equation. He is the winemaker from Marginalia, and he did a really fun, geeky rosé that was had all sorts of things going on, but a lot more skin contact, and he played around with some lees. It was like a whole fun project.
We also have somebody that just said, yay, Ashley just joined Vital last week. That's Pamela Mack. Yay for you. Vital is such an incredible, I mean, we should have another show that just talks about Vital because I think it's just such a great organization. But if you can quickly tell us a little bit about that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So Vital is a nonprofit winery for better access for healthcare for vineyard and cellar workers in Walla Walla Valley and our surrounding communities. And we get pretty much everything donated, and then 100% of our profits go to that cause.
And it's fantastic wine. I mean, I've only had a few things, but there's nothing better than drinking for a great cause. I mean, if you want to feel good about yourself, you grab a bottle of that wine and, you know, you really can't go wrong, and you can finish it off. I give you approval, full approval. So, and Ashley has a tasting room in Walla Walla on the south. Do you guys call that the South End wineries?
Mm-hmm. South side, yeah.
South side wineries. It's awesome. It's very like boho chic and great wines. And so you will definitely have to visit her. And I do think that I will, and follow them at Brook and Bull on Instagram or whatever social media you guys like. So thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us. I'm telling you, there's not a bad rosé in this bunch. And do you ship direct?
We do.
Okay.
But we're almost sold out of this rosé. So if you want some,
get it today. Get it today. It is lovely. I have multiple of her rosés every single year. So I'm a huge fan. She's also just a great human. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. And we are going to move right on. And I have to look at the bottle lineup that I have to make sure who's next. But thank you, Ashley. We will talk to you very soon. Okay. I know who's next. This is going to be a little fun bunch right here. We have our friends at Tertulia.
Woo!
And in fact, you guys are a little farther away. Oh, nope. We got to do it like this so we can see you.
There we go.
So I have to say, I have known Tortuglia since we started the magazine, 10 years. I've been causing trouble at their winery so many times, I can't even tell you. But
Love you.
I'm,
We wouldn't have it the other way. We are your social gathering of friends, you know.
I know, I have a good time. Okay, so let's be real. I cannot show anybody this color. I don't know if you can see it, but this does not look like the typical Tertulia rosé. Okay, because we're dealing with a pretty strong grape. Tempranillo is not something to mess with, right? So I'm guessing that this rosé was left on the skins for like a second.
It went straight into the press, no
Okay,
crushing.
will you explain to people what that means? Going straight to the press?
Yeah, so it's vin grease means like very, very little maceration, the mixing of the juice and the skins. And really what we did, we just go straight to press. So when the press starts working on it, that is the limited amount of maceration for the couple hours it takes to press. And it gives it a very light pink color, almost salmon. And I had a very good friend who recently passed away. He lent me this great book called like The World's Palest Rosé. And yeah, this is kind of my little dedicate to my friend Marvin Wood, who recently passed away. He liked a good pale rosé. And so when we started making this, I thought a lot about him. So
cheers to him.
Cheers to Marvin.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it just goes straight into the press, and we mix 2 different lots of Tempranillo from 2 of our 3 estate vineyards.
Okay.
And that gives us a little bit of complexity, and it is a deliberate rosé.
Intentional rosé is what I call it.
So we are picking it for the intent of making a rosé out of it. It's not like we bring in something for a red and bleed off some juice and use the Saignée to make the rosé. This is meant from the very start to be a rosé. And the great thing about Tempranillo is right after veraison, it loses all of its vegetal character. It starts to taste ripe at very low sugar levels. So we bring this in between 18 and a half and 19 and a half bricks. So we can make a really nice low alcohol, bright acids with this beautiful fruit character and floral aromatics.
I mean, I can attest to that. And then let me go back and just like, let's throw out a couple words like maceration. Okay. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Most people that come in your tasting room and you say that, they're like, oh yeah, I totally know what that is. But let's really talk, what is maceration? I mean, I know, but I just want to.
Maceration is that mixing of the skin and the juice and how much contact you have with it. And when you're making a rosé, you're working with red grapes, and it's that contact that gives you that color. You're bleeding, you're just kind of leaching out that color from grapes into the juice.
And it's from the skins. The skins is what is creating the color. It's not the inside of the grape. If you look at an inside of a grape, it's white. I mean, basically, I mean, like light color, you know?
Yeah, almost has no color. There are maybe a few varieties that are oddballs, but for the most part, yeah, it's pretty clear on the inside. So when we're making this, it's very minimal contact with the skins and the juice, and it gives us this very pale, beautiful, elegant rosé.
It's gorgeous. And I would say, like, honestly, I wish I could kind of show the lineup here, which I'll post it on our Instagram after that. But like, there's very much a theme this year for rosé, which is very, you know, like the just, you know, nude tones. And yeah, it's awesome. Where is Hendrix? Did you bring Hendrix to be on air or what?
You know what? I said I should have brought Hendrix down here because I know she asked about Hendrix, but I didn't.
Yes, and she has a new puppy that is just like out of this world cute. And in fact, I'll probably post some on the videos on Instagram today because it was just so silly.
He's resting for the big weekend. So he's news right now. I told him he had to be charming.
Of course. And let me ask, so is your is the rosé just being released this weekend?
We're the first bottle right now with you. So we're really
Awesome. I love it.
So
and we put it in magnums again this year. So
party in a bottle.
I love the Magnum of rosé. It's never 750 ml is never enough for rosé. Let's just be real.
Absolutely.
Do you guys ship direct to consumers?
We ship direct to 48 states. Only 2 exclusions,
Awesome.
Utah and Kentucky. So
Okay.
Then you get it together.
I know, really?
And the rosé is available to purchase online.
Absolutely. It just went live today. We made sure it was ready for you.
Awesome. Okay, wonderful. Well, do you guys want to say anything else about the rosé? Is there anything like you guys have been doing Tempranillo for a long time, right?
Yeah. Since the second vintage,
2006.
Tertulia 2006. Yep.
That's so awesome.
Our Sweet 16. So last year we were ready to celebrate our quinceañera year. And then, there was this thing that happened and it kind of put a squelch to all of our plans. So this year we're really looking forward to the Sweet 16 celebration. And we're kicking off this spring kickoff weekend for the Walla Walla Wine Alliance. And we're going to release the rosé. And we have a couple other things that are coming out, but we're real excited about this.
Awesome. Well, so just everybody get out to Walla Walla. They are accepting visitors. Most places are reservations recommended, but just to be like, everybody's trying to still manage this new normal of wine tasting. And so, we just ask that you call ahead, just give them a heads up. But yes, if you go someplace and it's not crazy busy, you can generally walk in and probably get a tasting. So
typically, yes. And the whole thing with reservations, and I know it's so different for people, but you know what it does? It gives the wineries an opportunity to be prepared for you and to give you the absolute best experience and to make sure that you have a place waiting for you. So
totally.
We just found that it creates such a better experience for our guests, and our team are able to be prepared for everyone. And we just love it. We absolutely love it.
And in normal times, you just automatically knew what weekends were busier and how to prepare and staff up. But nobody knows, like, are you guys gonna be flooded this weekend? Nobody knows, So just to be a good consumer, a good steward in wine, just give them a heads up. So
absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I am going to cruise on, and thank you guys so much for joining us.
This rosé.
As all of them, I literally did not pick a bad rosé. So just FYI. All right, you guys. We'll see you soon. Cheers. Okay. So next we have. Oh my gosh! I visited this property when I first came in, and it is so charming. It is just on this little farm. It's not even really a farm. It's kind of farmland, but they have such a beautiful view. They are in the Rocks District. There's only 2 tasting rooms that are in the Rocks District. And one of them is Ducleaux Cellars. And this is Toby Turlay. Did I say that right?
You did. That was perfect.
And I was joking, but I was like, I was hoping that the hens might make an appearance because you have the most adorable hens on the property.
We're not allowed inside the winery. No way.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if you were going to be broadcasting from inside or outside of your wonderful place. But okay, let's talk about, well, first of all, I just love the name. And I think everybody can appreciate this one night stand. And I
needs a one night stand. Come on.
I did read about it. Why? But will you tell everybody why it's called one night stand?
So it depends on who you ask. If you ask me, I'll give you the truth. If you ask Chris, he might tell you a little lie. So all of our wines have something to do with the journey along with our journey. And Chris and I actually met on Match.com. We have a blended family. So he will tell you that we saw each other on Match and that it was supposed to be a one night stand, but that's actually not true because that was like 15 years ago. So It was actually, the name came from when you make a rosé, the skins are only on the flesh of the grape for a few hours or for overnight. So that's your one night stand.
And depending, just for our viewers out there, I mean, it depends on what varietal you're working with. Like if it's Pinot Noir, it's a very light grape. The skins are very delicate, and you can extract that or put it, macerate it for up to 2 days sometimes to just even gain any color, versus like a Malbec or Syrah rosé, where you're like you are going straight to press. You don't need those to be left on the skins.
Because some of the grapes, Syrah is a great example. I mean, you can go straight to press and still have a lot of anthocyanins, the color. You can still have a lot of color, too much color sometimes, even going straight to press. So, yeah.
And this, again, that very pale Provence style. And I know that's hugely of interest to you. That's how you kind of fell in love with rosé. I think majority of the people that are here today fell in love with Provence style.
Well, I was laughing when you said nude tones. I was like, oh, how appropriate for a one night stand.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh. You can use that. You're welcome. No.
Thank you.
But let's talk a little bit about Ducleaux, because you guys are fairly new on the scene for like a Walla Walla winery, and you're from the western side of the state in Seattle. We talked about like your husband, or Chris, is from Issaquah, where I'm from, and I mean, you bought this charming property, which, by the way, they have an Airbnb on it, and it is so cute, with access to this beautiful pool that looks up against the mountains. It's just so charming. But you guys are a pretty small operation.
We are. We only make about 1,000 to 1,500 cases a year. And that's about where we'd like to stay. As far as the Airbnb, if you're interested, we're booked almost through the whole summer. But
oh my gosh, of course they are, because it's so stinking cute, you guys. I mean, it's just insane. But
we started out. You were talking about how we started. We started out in our garage over in like the Issaquah, Renton area. And Chris grew up in Tri-Cities and then moved over. We met in Seattle. And we always said when our 6 kids were grown and out of the house that we were going to move the winery over here. And Chris found this property, and I was pretty resistant to it with the amount of work that we would have to do. But he eventually talked me into it, and here we are.
Well, I'm glad because it's so wonderful. So when we talk about this rosé is a blend of Grenache and Mourvedre, right? No, sorry. This is Syrah and Grenache.
No, this is 100% Grenache.
Why do I have a blend? I must have messed all my stuff up. Did you?
Our 2018 was Syrah and Grenache.
Okay, got you. So this is 100% Grenache.
Yes.
And
so this is actually the same fruit that was used to make the call sign, the pet nat.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Seriously, I don't even know if you can get your hands on this, but she has a pet nat that is just out of this world good. It was one because we do a sparkling category for our Best of the Northwest every year, and this one we all was blind tasted, but it was just one that stuck out to me so much, and I was just so shocked. I just had it last weekend with some friends with crab cakes. It was a stunner. I mean, like a stunner. So try to get your hands on that call sign as well. So, and then tell us a little bit about how you specifically make your rosé.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, I'm really in love with the Provence style rosés. I like them really light in color, good acid. Well, it has to be balanced. This one, I was fortunate enough for it to be balanced enough. I didn't have to add any sugar. It's bone dry. There's 0 sugar in it. I think some of it's luck. I mean, some of it, you think you're doing the right thing. And I picked it around 21 bricks I wanted to press it right away, but we had to wait until the next morning and pressed it right away, and it went straight into stainless, and and it's been there ever since.
It's good. I mean, it's so crisp and clean, and got, again, great acidity. It definitely has some body to it too. Like it's phenomenal. But don't take my word for it. Can you get this online, or is it available?
It's going to be a wine club release first, so you can always do wine club. But then we're going to open it up after we release to the wine club. And is
it only available if you come to Walla Walla, or are you guys shipping to?
Oh, you can. Yeah, we'll ship. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, if you can get out there, I will tell you, this is such a charming, beautiful property. It's so cute, and it's just fun to kick back with some hens around and sip a little wine like I did yesterday, which really.
Did you just call me a hen?
No, not you. Your actual hens that are here.
They're great. Did you try the eggs, by the way?
Not yet, because we're in a hotel. So, but I have them, and I'm not going to do the egg wash. She gave me some fresh eggs from the farm, and I am going to try them as soon as we get back to Seattle. But
great, perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Toby. And we are going to go to our next guest. Thank you. And you guys can follow them at Ducleaux Cellars. I actually did not get this up there, so I'm sorry. Tim Wright, you had asked where Toby is from again.
Where is Toby from again?
Yeah, there you go. Ducleaux Cellars.
Ducleaux. Whoops.
Yep. I did.
It's just at Ducleaux Cellars or ducleauxcellars.com.
Yep. And we'll also link everybody in the comments here after this so that you can check them out on your own. So, okay. Thank you, Toby. Okay. So next, let me look. We have Cara from the Walls, and I'm here with a few other people at Roti Sellers, and every time I pick up the bottle, it has like a little bit taken out of it. So they're just enjoying this with me. So let's bring on Cara.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty great today, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have a really good lineup. I'm jealous.
Yeah, you should be jealous. And honestly, I requested a bottle from everybody, but Cara dropped it on. Is it Cara or Cara? Cara. Okay, good. That's my sister-in-law's name too, but spelled differently. So she dropped off 2 bottles for me. That means I'm going to have a little extra rosé later. But this is, Cara is from the Walls Vineyards. Tell us a little bit about this year's rosé, this 2020. Tell us about this name, Cruel Summer.
Yeah. I love our rosé. It's made in a Provençal style. We kind of made that change in 2019, but it's Grenache Mourvedre, primarily Grenache, about 80%. You can see like it's crazy pale in color. You're definitely on a wonderful theme here with the rosés.
Yes, I am.
The Cruel Summer, because rosés or summer without rosés is pretty cruel. So we have a pretty good sense of humor here at the Walls, and it plays into our names and who we are and in the staff. And so I think it's fitting for 2020. It was kind of a cruel summer. So
hell yeah, it was. I mean, we all were trying to figure out what we're drinking that summer, and I think we'll probably carry this into some serious partying for 2021.
Yeah, seriously.
But for people that don't know, why is it called the Walls?
The Walls, yeah. So when we first started making wine back in 2014, we were making wine at a custom crush facility here in Walla Walla. And our view from the crush pad were the walls of the state penitentiary, but also the nickname of the state pen is called the Walls.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, so it's their nickname as well. So not only with our name of the winery, but some names of our wines play on whether it's local or Pacific Northwest or worldly wine history, or just history of the valley in general. So, yep, the Walls after the state penitentiary.
That's so awesome. So this year, do you guys typically always do a rosé of Grenache, or is this something new for you guys this year?
It's definitely something new. It started in 2019. We have a new consulting winemaker, Todd, and we just wanted something.
No big deal. Todd, of force majeure.
Not Alexander, yes, with force majeure.
And again, my mouth is watering. All of these wines are so spot on with the acidity. Like,
right?
I wish I had food to eat with it because it's just like the most food friendly wine. If you're not a fan of rosé, I just say try rosé with food because
you have to,
it makes things totally different and just totally different profile. And this is, again, I mean, like I said, like I'm sitting here, you guys should see the rainbow of colors I have in front of me. I would move this, but I've got all these things, the selfie light, all that stuff set up, so I can't do that. But and the Walls is actually very, like she said, I mean, well, before, but their tasting room now is still pretty close to the penitentiary.
Yeah, we're literally right down the street from it. So I love how we're like still very close to what we're about in our name. I think it's really cool. But going back to like everyone should try rosé, my favorite thing is pouring this rosé in the tasting room, and this like macho manly man comes in. And he's like, oh, rosé. And then he's like, oh, wait, this is actually really good. And I was like, yeah, real man can drink it too. Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Honestly, like I remember my husband actually was kind of one of those people, and he was like, the pink drink. And I got him hooked. And he was like, I mean.
And this isn't even that pink. Like,
no, first of all, this is not. I mean, most of these rosés are not very pink, but who cares if it's pink? It's a pink drink and it's good.
It's tasty.
The Walls also has like some other wines that make me a little crazy because they're so good. And again, it's making my mouth water just talking about some of the wines. But I know they're like that Chardonnay, there's a Chardonnay and the Syrahs and just like.
Oh, the Syrahs are my favorite. Yeah. We have a great like portfolio here of wines being sourced all over Washington State, whether it's here in the Valley, Rocks District, Red Mountain, Columbia Gorge. There's really a wine here for everyone, which I appreciate. I think it keeps us diverse and like, easy for people to come visit us and hang out. I love it.
My computer was just about to die, so I had to plug it in. Sorry. But yes, I absolutely agree. This rosé retails for $25, right?
Correct. Yeah, we just released it.
And they are doing the Walls. Are you still doing the tasting kits?
Yeah, so we're doing the virtual tasting kit, and this is one of the wines in the lineup. Yeah.
Okay, I'm telling you, that's like the most fun thing to do. You get these virtual tasting kits. I don't know how you guys do it, if it's one-on-one or there's like a class or whatever.
I've done it all. I've done groups of like 20 people. I've done one-on-one, but we send you these 4-ounce bottles, 5 wines. It's shareable, and you can get family members together, friends.
So fun.
And we just get on Zoom and talk about the wines. You get my full attention for an hour. And
that's the thing is with the tasting kits, I mean, sometimes people will, like if there's a virtual tasting or whatever, you can get 3 bottles or, but like if it's just like a couple, like you and somebody else, it's kind of hard to open up all 3 bottles. So that's why these tasting kits are so ideal, because you can try all these different wines, not have to open up a full bottle. I mean, you can do that. I'm not against it. But so I think check them out for the Walls. Definitely go visit. They just redid their tasting room. It looks absolutely gorgeous in there. And thanks for the second bottle of rosé, because I'll be drinking that this evening.
I got you, girl. I got you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. I appreciate you jumping on and dropping me off rosé earlier. So
I got you.
All right. Thanks so much, Cara. We will talk to you later. Okay. Oh, of course, I leave Sean for the last winemaker to be on, because we are actually broadcasting here from Roti Sellers. Oh, see, now you can see all the rosé that I'm drinking over here. This is like an absolutely, let me see if I can just, stunning tasting room. I mean, and grounds. There's not quite, the vineyards are a little brown right now because they don't have leaves on them, but they're coming. So this place in summer is going to be an absolute dream. We featured this on the cover of the current spring issue of SIP. So definitely check that out. But let's bring on Sean. let's talk about some rosé. Hey, Sean.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
You got a
How are
lot
you?
of energy. Good job.
Thank you. I have to.
You have to, yeah.
Let's tell them the story of how we met, though, first, real quick.
Oh God, you're gonna have to start that one.
Okay, I'll tell the story. So I was just about to launch SIP magazine, and I lived in South Lake Union next to a bar called the Republic. Republic was like, it was kind of like the Cheers bar for industry folks, which I did not know. So I'm sitting there, I meet Darren Williams, and this guy comes in, Sean Boyd, and sits down and talks to us. And I tell him, oh, look, I think I'm going to start a magazine called SIP. And he basically told me I was absolutely insane and crazy, and that, it just was, and in all fairness, Sean, it was in 2010 when there was like a recession and everybody was like, print is dead, print is dead. And 10 years later, we're both still around. And I remember we saw each other actually a couple years ago, and it was just like, those times when we have some drinks. And I mean, it's just funny where we've come, because I'm sitting, interviewing you, talking to you in your absolutely stunning location that is, what, 2 years old?
Yeah, 2 years old. Yeah, that's always a work in progress. But
It's-
I sound like a jerk. Sounds about
No,
right.
it was drinks in, let's be real. Tom Douglas told me I was fucking crazy. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I was kind of crazy back then about.
Well, you're doing the Lord's work. You're spreading the word, which is, we really respect that, and thank you for doing it.
Thank you. That's so nice. No, I mean, we're good friends now. This is, all water under the bridge, but it's really funny just how things come full circle. And look, we're here. And you were actually right over there.
Yeah, putting a vineyard in. You're kind of, you're a total idiot for putting a vineyard in usually. That takes so long to, you don't do it you do it because you like making wine. You don't do it because of money or other things. And so it's
exactly. Yep. Passion always wins.
Yeah. So on the rosé side, I mean, we're working with a lot like everybody else. We just like, rosé is meant to be fun. It's meant to be bright. It's meant to be fresh. It's meant to be cold. It's meant to be drunk. Right. I don't keep rosé around for more than a year. So usually most rosés.
In fact, let's talk about that, Sean, because that's the one thing is that cellaring rosé, there's very rare examples of rosé that cellars well. And why is that?
Yeah, I think it has to do with that freshness. It also has to do with like the dissolved CO2 in rosé. You kind of have that, it's higher, so you have this brighter, fresher component to it. And those are the bright flavors that you want. So when you're making a rosé, you're going straight to press. So you're basically taking a red wine and you're making it just like you would a white wine. So you're bringing it in. So when everybody's talking about skin contact, some people will say, you talk to 20 different winemakers and they're going to have 20 different explanations, right? And so, or 20 different ways of making rosé. And
that's what I think people just don't understand. That's the whole thing I'm trying to drill into people.
Right. So on the darkness scale, there's different ways of doing it. There's the right way and the wrong way, but we probably shouldn't go into that. But you can basically let it soak on the skins for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And some people will say, oh, you have to do it for 4 hours. And some people say you do it for 2 hours. Some say you do it overnight, whatever. And then it goes into the press, and that's your color extraction, right? Or it can be your color extraction. So, the darker the skins, the more color you're going to extract out of it. We like to go straight into the press, just straight into the press. And so whatever we get out of that press from basically squeezing those grapes. So you're coming out with a red wine right at about 21.5, 22 bricks. You usually overcrop the vineyard a little bit just so you get, 5 tons per acre. You want something that's really uniform at about 21, 22 bricks.
Sorry, let me pause you for just 1 second, because for people that aren't, I mean, because Brooks gets thrown around a lot. It's a measurement of sugar in the grapes. So it's something that the winemakers are constantly out in the vineyard and testing around harvest to see where their levels of sweetness are, because the higher sugar, the higher the alcohol percent.
The great way, the great explanation that we like to use is that it's like, think about growing a tomato. So when you grow a tomato, there's as your sugar rises, your acid's up here, right? So right when you have a green tomato, you're just starting to get some sugar and you've got tons of acid.
All acidity.
So when you bite into a green tomato, you're like, whoa, that has a lot of acid, no sugar, gross, right?
Yeah.
Unless you fry it or do something cool. And so then as the sugar rises, the acid drops. And there's this perfect balance where you have the perfect tomato, right? You have all this sugar and you have this great acid. You're like, wow, that is the best tomato I've ever had. And then you wait too long and the sugar rises, the acid totally drops out, and then you're dealing with a mush ball, right?
Yeah.
The gross tomato that's totally mush, right? And so when you're dealing with rosés, you're really kind of like here, right? So you're dealing with you're getting the sugar up, you still have all this acid, and then you really kind of want to press that because you want to have that that fresh side of things. And so,
and that's the thing, is like, its balance is so important in rosé, especially. I mean, and there's, I mean, I'm sure that everybody can attest to the fact that we've had some pretty bad rosés in the past, but like that's what, it takes some finesse with the winemaker, to really balance it out and have that equal amounts of acidity versus sugar, basically. So, and tell us about this specific rosé that you guys just released, right? It's out.
We're just releasing it now. We're coming out of a pretty crazy year, but we have this higher elevation site. We're here at the Rocks in our new tasting room. We're at about 850 feet. And then as you go up the Blue Mountains or up in the Blue Vineyard, 1,350 feet. So it's a cooler climate.
Sorry, Sean, you're like totally, you're cutting out just a little bit. Let me see. I think you're good now. Okay, sorry. But the elevation.
Right. Yeah, so higher is probably just me talking. It's like my synapses stop every once in a while. But no, higher elevation site, cooler climate. So that also allows it to hang a little bit. I think you got to stop. Are you videoing?
Wait, yeah. I think that phone is, I think her phone is messing up your connection out there.
We'll turn it on airplane mode. It's on airplane mode now. All right.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there we go. Boom. Okay, this happened to me a couple weeks ago, and I was like, because I had my phone and iPad and the computer on at the same time, and it was not good. So
yeah, well, we're off some satellite over here because we have nothing in the middle of it.
Well, it's actually great here. Yeah. I mean, the Wi-Fi is wonderful. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So cooler elevation or higher elevation, cooler climate, retains acidity more, get longer hang time. We don't like to have any residual sugar in our rosés, so hopefully it's bright, fresh, crisp. That's what we're going for.
It absolutely is. What is this retail for?
22. Unless you buy.
Okay, so I'm telling you, I see Conchin on here, and Conchin has chipmunky. I'm seriously, Conchin, I think that we should put together a box of all of these rosés that we tasted and get them out. I mean, well, except some of them that are like basically an allocation. Which ones are those? But how many cases of this do you produce?
So we make about 650 cases of that, and then 250 of Pride, which is a little bit it's similar, but we always adjust it a little bit. Tioni and Liz and Maddie sell it so quickly that we'll be out of it by, it's a double-edged sword. We want to be out of it by August 15th because we want to get back into
that sparkling? Is that the
No,
sparkling?
The sparkling will come out in November for the holiday seasons because
Okay.
yeah, we like you have to celebrate with sparkling.
Yes, you do. I think
Yes,
that we
you
were
do.
celebrating earlier here in the tasting room for,
Well, I mean-
was it somebody's birthday?
Yeah, it's Jesse's birthday, but we find reasons
Okay.
to celebrate quite often. over here.
Well, I was stoked. I mean, I got to get in on a little bit of that sparkling. It was pretty fantastic. So, awesome. Okay. Well, I think we're going to be wrapping up here. And Sean, it was so good to hang with you. And in fact, I think I'm going to have a glass of wine with you right when we're done and
Awesome.
enjoy it. You guys, I really wish that you could see this view. Oh, it is so stunning here. And you're sitting up on it, like, you know, like he said, 850 elevation, but the Rocks is no joke. The Rocks district is called the Rocks because there are rocks. The geology of the Rocks district is so cool. Yes, see, there's just a bunch of rocks and vines over there, but definitely check out the spring issue of SIP, because we have a great story on the Rocks. And it talks about like just the geology of like how this, you know, why this AVA is so special, brings so much minerality and coolness. But the valley alone just brings, and by the way, by Sean, he's now walking over here so I can take him off the thing. But the valley has, like, all of these producers, first of all, don't just make great rosé. They make incredible wines, and you should visit every single one of the ones that we featured. And it's just beautiful. All of them have these wonderful wineries, everything from like these little downtown to Airport Way and you know, out in a vineyard. Walla Walla is absolutely magical. I am so excited to be able to get back here again. I hope we all get vaccinated so that we can just have a normal life again. And so that's that. If you guys do have any questions, you can still drop them into the comments here, and we will go back and revisit those and answer anything that we can. And that's really it. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us. This was so fun. And if you didn't catch it, go check the rest of the episode. And we are out. See you later.